Well, good evening. It's 5 p.m. Welcome to 505. Coming up this evening, residents of Amasaman Obeye stage protest over poor roads give government a week ultimatum to fix the road.
NDC government who has come, they are not doing it for us, so we are not happy. We are not happy, and transportation has been increased by.
Well, this comes after drivers on the Budumbram-Winneba road threatening to increase transport fares from today over the state of the road. Tonight, we'll delve much into the current state of major roads in the country and ask some critical questions. Stay with us. And in court today, a number of high-profile cases took the spotlight. One, the High Court adjourned Chairman Wuntumi's alleged 30 million Exim Bank fraud case to July 27, 2026 to allow the Attorney General and the defense to continue negotiations over the possible plea agreement. Also, lawyer Oliver Barker-Vormawor says the appeal in the case involving Abutrika is scheduled for July 9. Plus, lawyers for former Buffer Stock CEO Hanan Abdul Wahab says they are preparing a court action to compel the BNI to disclose the whereabouts of their clients. Also tonight on 505, Cybersecurity Experts Association calls for crackdown of fake online investments as Ghana records a surge in fake online investment scams and losses of over 3.4 million Ghana cedis in just 6 months.
And if we are having this emerging case within the cyberspace, it is something that should be treated with the urgency that it deserves.
And later this evening, Ghana National Fire Service grapples with operational challenges amid rising rainy season emergencies. And in business tonight,
government misses out on its T-bills targets. We have more at 5:50.
We have these and more stories plus some interesting analysis to do. Stay with us. And this bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at digital address G0423598 North Laboni, Third Daddy Walk on Class 91.3 FM in Accra. Goes live on Who FM 92.5, Hills 91.7 at Daklu, both in the voter region, Max Empire 96.9 in the Upper East region, Dagbon FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio Power 96 in Spain. We're live on Facebook. Connect with us or join us with a thoughts, comments, and contributions with a hashtag 505, alternatively through our WhatsApp number 0500,000 202. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr. It's time. It's 505. Welcome. 505 is always brought to you by MTN Everywhere Go, Electroland Ghana Limited, and Reviews Grants for. We're now to the very first story. Residents of Amasaman, Obeye, and adjoining communities in the Greater Accra region have issued an ultimatum to government to rehabilitate their deteriorating road network following a demonstration held today, Monday, at the 6th of July 2027 to demand urgent interventions. The protesters say the deplorable state of the road has made commuting increasingly difficult, disrupting commercial activities, increased vehicle maintenance costs and transport fares, and negatively affecting livelihoods. Carrying placards with inscriptions such as "Fix our roads now," "Enough is enough," and "Good roads save lives," the demonstrators marched through sections of the affected communities, calling on the government to prioritize the rehabilitation of the roads. According to the residents, repeated appeals to the relevant authorities over the years have produced little or no action, leaving them with no option but to stage a demonstration to draw national attention to their plight. The demonstration comes just weeks after commercial drivers operating on the Budumbram-Winneba stretch threatening to increase transport fares because of the poor condition of that road. Drivers have attributed rising vehicle maintenance costs and frequent breakdowns to the deteriorating road surface, warning that passengers will inevitably bear the additional cost or if rehabilitation works were delayed further. Take a listen.
Ya trotro wa shatawale nie me say ya broko kwan no because of ya kwan no e portos a emu susumbo ho pa ya bre ya hemsi MP wa hasisia edenti ne e wo se to aba ne e bre se ade na momo yesa ya we school eni mutu na be ya ya ko za kwa na say ye de moto ya tuma aban stop ye GS fine madam fine so mama sama e kind of blow to Amasama is very short distance. It's about 10 minutes drive, but due to the bad road, and when going to work, you get late. You understand? So the road needs to be fixed. Our roads need to be fixed. Fix our road for us, please.
For how long have you been facing this challenge?
More than 5 years. For the past 5 governments, the past government didn't do it. The NDC government who has come, they are not doing it for us. So we are not happy. We are not happy. Because we have to pay 6 cities. From here to Amasama is 6 cities. But right now we pay 10 cities. That is too much for us. So the road has to be fixed.
So you had the residents of the area, that's Amasaman enclave, drawing the attention of authorities to deal with this matter. This is 505 here on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, across the country and across the world on classfmonline.com. So tonight we'll delve much into some critical routes that needs to be fixed. And of course, I'm sure that weeks ago you had a report from the Ewutu Senya West constituency, that is the Kaswa Budumbram Winneba stretch, where President Mahama a month ago visited that site together with the road minister Governor Kwame Okyere Jnr. and the member of parliament for that area, Gisela Agbotu Tete, to inspect the nature of the road. But transport operators working within that enclave say they will, in fact, they threaten increment in transport fares because of the nature of the road. I've been joined on the phone by the Deputy Public Relations Officer for the GPRT, Samalama. Sami, good evening to you. I'm grateful for time on 505.
Good evening. Thank you for having me on your show.
Great. Weeks ago, we had a conversation about the possible increment in transport fares because of the nature of the Budumbram Winneba stretch. Currently, as we speak, what is the position? Because it was supposed to take effect today, correct? What is the current state of GPR2, the transport operators, and have you heard from authorities dealing with the nature of the road?
All right, so thank you very much. Good evening to you and your listeners. Yes, this issue has been something that we have been battling, of. As you rightly said, it was about 2 weeks ago when we started talking about the deplorable state of that road. And because of that, our drivers that apply that stretch were complaining bitterly, because anytime they pick passengers to Cape Coast, Mankasim, and those areas, when they come back, then it means that they have to send their vehicles to the workshop. And nowadays, too, spare parts are very, very high. The cost is very, very high. As I'm speaking to you, the drivers are not using the Budumbram stretch again. They have decided to divert to use the Bojiase road down to Shrubbery, then they cut it off. And prior to that, the drivers that use apply that route to Cape Coast, Takoradi, Mankasim. As I'm speaking to you, there has been some small adjustment of fares over there, because we had a complaint from there. But we went there, and we were trying to avoid this, for commuters to suffer, this issue that is happening. But we were thinking that maybe something can be done about it. But as I'm speaking to you, nothing has been done, and the drivers too are saying that they can't continue using that road, whereby they'll go and come and they'll fix they have to take their vehicles to workshops and all that. Some of them has even suffered engine breakdowns and all that. So basically they are not using that road again. They use the Bojiase stretch instead of the short route, Kaswa Budumbram road.
I see. So if you're talking about routes, I'm glad you are on this conversation, because you speak for the GPR too, of course, the deputy anyway. So today, Amasaman Obeye stretch, for instance, the residents demonstrated because of the poor state of the road. You are also aware of the conversation we're having now about the state of the Kaswa Budumbram Winneba stretch, that of SCC barrier as well. We know that small portion. We know the heavy traffic that occurs every morning, every evening, in fact every day, due to the bad state of that particular stretch just in front of Atala to the barrier junction. Also at the McCarthy Hill junction to Malam junction. This morning I saw that, some efforts have been done. It has been graded a bit, but that particular stretch as well. And then down Suman junction, for instance, the huge autos there. Really, what has the union been doing as far as the conversation with government authorities to ensure that all these routes that I'm talking about, together with other routes within the country or here in Greater Accra, is concerned?
All right. So this issue of rules has been something that we have been battling of seriously. The union is not sitting down at all. Even as I'm speaking to you, apart from those that you just mentioned, as I'm speaking to you today, the leadership of Ashaiman Municipal, you know, that is the transport operators within the Ashaiman municipality. Myself, I live in Ashaiman.
Okay.
I also have you know, my branches in Ashaiman. We visited the MCA of Ashaiman Municipal Assembly, that is Honorable Freeman Chepo. We visited him today. Based on the deplorable state of the roads around, we are pushing. What they told us was that it has been awarded, you know, and that they are working on it. In fact, he even promised that in the next week. We even pointed out some certain areas that we think, you know, they have to send the grader to just go and, you know, make it a bit more trouble. And the union is trying its best to make sure that those rules, the government will live up to expectation. What that they are saying is they have given it to a contractor for them to work on it. But I think that there has to be some serious follow-up, you know, because if the follow-up is not going, that is where the contractors also do relax. I remember quite well some time ago, that was last year, when we strike on the Pokwasi Amansaman stretch. You know, then some road. When we strike quickly, there was a follow-up. Then the contractor started doing something. But when we leave them, then they also relax. So we won't sit down, because when it happens like that, then the drivers will also start to do their own thing. Because when it gets to some certain, you know, period of time, when you ask them to pick the passengers to those areas, they refuse. And though the few ones that they will go, they will also decide to increase the fares. And when it happens like that, then it's the commuters that are suffering. So we are doing our best, but we are pleading with the government that those roads that they have given it to contractors to work on, they should do a follow-up for them to make sure that at least we know they can't fix it outright at just a go, but they can just make it a bit more trouble for the drivers to also, you know, enjoy the route a little bit. So we are trying our best.
I've seen people sending comments about the union's engagement with the ministry, because largely, just like you mentioned, I personally had a conversation with an MC yesterday, and he said that, the road has been given to a contractor and the contractor is yet to appear on the site. Clearly, from what you're saying, there has to be constant follow-ups to ensure that the contractor comes to the site. It also brings the conversation about what's the road ministry is doing to ensure that the contractor either returns or appear on site. So listeners, you can also send us your thoughts on this conversation, where you think the road is very bad that needs to be dealt with by the ministry. So just like a comment came, is the union planning, or have you already engaged the Ministry of Roads to ensure that, or to pinpoint certain critical routes that needs to be addressed?
All right, so thank you very much for this question. It's something that we are planning to do. Even tomorrow, we are having a meeting on that issue. You know, first we met the road minister on this Budumburam stretch. You know, the time we did some demonstration over, we did a press conference. From that time, we engaged him. And he said that yes, the contractor will soon go on road. He will make sure that they will fix and all that. So what we are planning to do now is to get a list of the roads that we see, the critical areas that we think need to be attended as a matter of urgency. We are listing them down and present it to the road ministry to make sure that if even they can't tide it, at least they can make it a bit more trouble. They can even, you know, grade it, you know, to a state that the drivers can also apply those rules. So we are planning to do that. We are not just going to, you know, focus on one road like we did on the Budumburam stretch. We are going to list, you know, all the roads that we think that needs an urgent attention. Then we will present it to the road ministry. Then we give them some short period of time to make sure that they fix it for our drivers to fly.
What about drivers who are threatening to increase transport fares because of the nature of the road? I mean, it's a fair demand, but on the part of the commuters, they will feel the heat. What is the union going to do about it?
You see, it's rather unfortunate, as you rightly said. It's not fair that maybe because of road, then it will happen that drivers will increase their transport fares. But the other way around, sometimes when you also put yourself in the shoes of the drivers, you also feel, what they also go through. All right, as there is a saying in a Kan language. It says, it goes like, it's like the whole thing is between the drivers and then the road ministry and the government. But when the government is not doing it, what he's supposed to do, then it means that the commuters are going to suffer from this. And it shouldn't happen like that. Now that I'm speaking to you, the union is also, meeting those. Even yesterday, I had a call myself at a certain area that I will not mention, that drivers has just increased their transport rate. I quickly sent a signal there and I made sure that they reverse. Within tomorrow, the leadership is sending a delegation there to go and, talk to the drivers over there. And talking to them just like that will not solve the problem. But we need to get some assurance from the road ministry. Then we tell them, the road ministry says that we should give them this, a couple of days for them to fix it, so that they also, relax a bit. Either than that, so it will get to a point where somebody may even try to, the drivers may even try to do their own thing, of which is not right for them to do.
I see. Well, that's a very important. So I mean, I'm sure that lots of Ghanaians, including myself, are looking forward to see or hear that conversation between your union and the road ministry to ensure that we do have some more troubled roads in these critical areas. I'm grateful for your time this evening. Or is there any other thing you want to advocate as far as this conversation is concerned?
I think all that I'll say for now is we are pleading with the drivers that are threatening to increase transport fares because of the bad nature of roads, that they should exercise a little bit patient. The leadership is meeting the road ministry, making sure that those roads will be fixed as early as possible, and we'll communicate to them. So they should just, exercise a little patience. And we're also pleading with, I know the authorities, most of them are listening to your station. We are pleading with them that they should live up to expectations. They shouldn't sit down just like that they have awarded the contract and that they are expecting that the contractors will fix the road. They should do a follow-up so that the right thing will be done.
Sammy, thank you so much for your time this evening. So that's Samuel Amwa, who is the Deputy Public Relations Officer for the GPR2. This is 505 on Class 91.3. So you can also share your thoughts with us where there are deplorable roads that needs to be fixed. I have talked about because I'm on that stretch, so I'm very particular about that. So you want to pardon me for that. So the Dansuma Junction, for instance, and then SCC barrier just after the West Coast Mall, just before the barrier junction traffic lights. That road is bad currently as we speak. Since last week Monday, those coming from Kaswa have been sharing the road with those coming from Accra to Kaswa. That is the state of the road as we speak. And then between Tuba Junction and then Broadcasting Junction, for instance, that road is also bad. And currently as we speak, since last week Monday, those coming from Tuba are sharing the same road with those going to Tuba. That is how bad the current state of that road is. And then when you get to Budumbram, before Budumbram Junction, where there used to be a shopping mall, just after the shopping mall to the Budumbram Junction, where it's called Barrier Junction to Budumbram itself, that road is also very, 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 very bad. That needs to be checked. The president was there about a month or two ago to inspect that with the member of parliament for that area, Gisela Butu-Tete, together with the other border constituency member of parliament, that's Gumwa East, in the person of Desmond Peitu. They were all there to inspect that, and the road minister governs Kwame Okyere Jnr. So really, why are we delaying in these projects? I've seen someone share a message that where is the big push going to? Of course, I agree. The big push needs to be centered on some of these critical roads we are talking about, just like today, those in Amasaman, Obeye demonstrated because of the nature of the road. Clearly, the road minister should attend to these roads as soon as possible as a matter of urgency. Then we get to Malam Junction, for instance, because of our constant advocacy on Class FM and Accra FM, that particular stretch has been made motorable a bit, especially exactly at the Malam Junction. But at McCarthy, that particular stretch has a lot of potholes, and of course we want to call on that municipal chief executive as well, in the person of Felix Akwiti, to also deal with that particular shred, and the South Municipal Assembly as well, to also deal with that. So this is 505 on Class 91.3. Share your thoughts with us, which road you think is in a bad state that needs to be dealt with. Let's say your comments on 0500,000 202 0500,000 202. I'll come back to read the messages you've sent as far as the nature of our road is concerned. Let me take you to the courts, because the Accra High Court has adjourned the alleged 30 million Ghana cedi Ghana Exports Import Bank, that's Exim Bank fraud case involving Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Nkibo, popularly known as Chairman of Wontumi, to July 27, 2026, to allow ongoing plea negotiations to continue. When the case was called today, lawyers for both the Attorney General and the defense informed the court that discussions over the possible plea agreement were still ongoing and required additional time to be concluded. The court subsequently granted a request and adjourned proceedings to July 27 for an update on the negotiations. Chairman Wontumi standing trial alongside Thomas Nkibo, a director of Wontumi Farms Limited, over allegations that they fraudulently obtained 40.3 million Ghana cedis from the Exim Bank, according to the prosecution. The accused used false pretenses to secure the facility from the state-owned bank. The adjournment follows ongoing efforts by the Attorney General's office and defense to explore a plea agreement under the provision of the Criminal and Other Offences Act procedure as amended Act 2020 Act 1079. When the matter returns to court on July 27, both parties are expected to brief the court on the outcome of the negotiations and indicate whether a plea agreement has been reached or whether the trial will proceed. My colleague Abba Brew actually joins me from the court to give us really the number of cases that was dealt with. Today, unfortunately, I'm unable to get in touch with her. While still in court, lawyer Oliver Bakavoma, counsel for Frederick Kwame, popularly known as Abutrika, has confirmed that the appeal is in his client's case is scheduled to be heard on July 9, 2026. Well, he said the legal team has formally written to the Attorney General seeking access to their client, but has still not been granted permission to meet him. The update comes after the High Court previously ordered extradition of Kumi to the United States to face charges in an alleged $8 million romance scam case. At the last sitting, the court was informed that the whereabouts of the accused remain unknown to his legal team, prompting the judge to demand clarification from the Attorney General's office. According to Oliver Bakavomawo, despite repeated efforts, the defense has not been able to establish a contact with Abutrika following development in the extradition proceedings. Listen to Oliver Bakavomawo.
Last time, court my order about Frederick Kwame Abutrika extradition 17. Na court my order yemremu no wo rights obey appeal ana ndise ne be ya ne appeal no be ko ne nim appeal no ya file dada. The court na say yentimi nyi no abra or appeal decision no na yeba court. In the court they are shared 9th July. Say 9th yeba yene Attorney General for so yeba be argue say the EPC Jnr so my court na trying more we na appeal but we na pay na answer say be sibiania okay yes okay see am.
So that's Oliver Bakavoma, who's the lead counsel for Abutrika. Well, Abutrika is currently challenging the extradition court, extradition order after his initial legal objection was dismissed by the Accra High Court. The expected to return to court as indicated by the lawyer on July 9 for hearing of the appeal. We stay a little longer in court because there is a developing case. Lawyers for the former chief executive officer of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul Wahab, are demanding that security authorities produce their clients and grant them access to him following his reported arrest. Hanan Abdul Wahab Aludiba was arrested at the Accra International Airport over an alleged attempt to use false means to access funds in a frozen bank account, according to the Deputy Attorney General. According to the Deputy Attorney General, according to the legal team, they are preparing to file an application in court to compel the Bureau of National Investigation to disclose his whereabouts and allow them to meet him. The lawyers say they have not been able to reach their client more than 24 hours after his arrest, raising concerns about his current location and condition. They are also seeking a formal court order directing the security agency to produce Abdul Wahab while providing clarity on the circumstances of his detention. Well, Ni Tete is a private legal practitioner. Joins me on the phone for some discussions on this. Counsel, are you with me? We seem to have some challenges with our lines, so we'll come back to him and then have a conversation with him. Okay, so he joins me on the phone. Counsel, I'm grateful for your time this evening on the show. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you. I believe you're doing very well yourself.
I'm here and happy.
Great. Walk us through how a plea agreement works under Act 1097. At what point does the court get involved versus leaving it purely to the Attorney General and the defense?
Right. Okay. So, first of all, let me say good evening to your listeners. Well, for the plea agreement, the court comes in when the parties, particularly the prosecution and the accused persons, through their lawyers, have drawn their agreement.
Hello, Counsel. I'm sorry, you would have to position yourself well because the line is breaking, respectfully. Counsel, can you hear me? I'm sorry, we've lost lawyer Ni Tete on the line. He's a private legal practitioner. We're trying to establish better connection with him to deal with the three cases. That's the Abutrika extradition, the Hanan Abdul Wahab case, and also the lawyers for that's the extradition. Oliver Bakavoma's conversation. We also deal with that. And so unfortunately, we're not getting a better connection with lawyer Ni Tete. This is 505 on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, across the country and across the world on classfmonline.com. Well, to some other stories, the growing menace of fake online investment schemes is prompting fresh calls for action, with the president of the Cybersecurity Experts Association urging government to intensify efforts to protect the public from fraudsters. His comments follow a warning by the National Cybersecurity Authority that 352 online investment fraud cases were recorded between January and June this year. I'm told I have a better connection with lawyer Ni Tete. He joins me on the phone. Counsel, thank you so much for your time once again. I lost you briefly.
Yes, I'm sure the call dropped. So, proceeding from where I left off, what I'm trying to draw your attention is that per the plea bargaining law, once the parties draw the attention of the court that there has been a proposal for a plea agreement, the court will grant it. Now, the court gives a 30 days period where the court is expecting that within that period, the parties will come through the prosecution to indicate that, well, parties have met and this is the progress of the plea agreement. So once the parties prosecution accused come to the court within that 30 days period to indicate to the court that, well, this is the progress of the court. The court can now decide to give another date where, by that time, parties should have agreed, and then the plea agreement should be filed, and then the court can decide to adopt it. But the point is that it is not a guarantee that when a plea agreement is adopted and granted by the court, it means that the sentencing of the accused person will reduce. That's not a guarantee. Court can decide that looking at the content of the plea agreement, the court can decide that, well, once looking at the content of the plea agreement, then it means that we would increase your sentence. And when that is the position of the court, the accused person can decide to withdraw the plea agreement and allow the matter to proceed as it is. And so that's how the law. That's what the law says. So it is not a guarantee that once the plea agreement is filed and adopted by the court, it means that the accused person is free, or perhaps his sentencing is reduced. So that is the position of the law, so far as the plea bargaining agreement is concerned.
If Chamawutimi and Thomas Intribution could plead to a lesser charge, does that affect the 14.3 million figure? Would restitution still be required?
If he pleads for a lesser charge, well, stealing is stealing. Corruption is corruption. As I indicated, it is not a guarantee. The law lies in the bosom of the judge. The judge can decide that based on the plea agreement, we will reduce the sentencing. The judge can also dissent and say that, well, you have plead, but you still go to jail the number of years you have to go. And so it's a 50-50. It's like a gamble. It's a gamble. Let me say it that way. It's a gamble. It may go in his favor, it may not go in his favor. But of course, it is just a risk he must take, hoping that will touch the heart of the judge and decide that the sentence should be reduced.
Let me bring you to the Abdul Hanan Wahab case with the BNI. The council says that they're unable to reach their client. What does the law say about how long security agencies can hold someone before family or lawyers must be given access?
All right. Well, once a suspect, once you are arrested, you are a suspect. Okay? It doesn't mean you are guilty. As a suspect, the discretionary power that the security agency has is 48 hours. Once 48 hours is up, you must process the suspect, who will now be an accused person, to court for him to the accused person to be remanded for as many days or weeks that the court deems fit, in the name of the fact that the accused person is likely to interfere in investigations, and that perhaps if it's remanded, he will not interfere in investigations, and so and that the investigator is to undergo investigations for them to be sure that they are able to find a prima facie evidence against the accused persons. And so it's 48 hours. I hear the fact that the lawyers have tried accessing the party involved, and yet it has been difficult. Obviously, that's a red flag. In as much as he has been arrested, Hanan Abdul Wahab has been arrested, it doesn't mean that he should not be granted access to his lawyers and also access to his family. Now you see, Hanan Abdul is entitled to a lawyer. The security agency or BNI cannot say that you're not entitled to it. Of course, he can decide to not speak until his lawyers are present. That is his right. So it will only be proper that BNI would draw the attention of his lawyers that, well, your client is here, and that if you want to see him, that is fine. That is a better way, because clearly, if that's not done, then it will seem to be an infringement on his fundamental human rights. So I'm hopeful that BNI would do the right thing, so that it will not be seen as a political witch hunting, but to rather be seen that, well, they are applying the law as it is. Obviously, he has arrested because it seemed that he tried to empty the account that has been frozen when he was leaving to the UK. So obviously he has been arrested. It doesn't mean that he should not be given access to a lawyer, so that at least he can be guided. But so far as you are concerned, until he's proven guilty. He's still innocent.
Yeah.
Right? He's
Yeah.
still innocent. And it's only the court that can decide that indeed Abdul Hanan, based on what has been said, is guilty. Until then, he's innocent. And so it's only proper that the BNI would allow him to have access to his lawyers. So that at least he doesn't end up muddying the waters. Because once he muddies the waters and he decides to take an action on the grounds of breach of fundamental human rights, then it means that all the things we are doing will come to a knot. It's going to be a fight between the citizens of Ghana versus the state, and also the state versus the accused person. But the point is that the court will not hesitate if it is established that there's a breach of the fundamental human rights, because he's not guilty until proven said.
If the lawyers can show more than 24 hours have passed with no access, is that alone enough to get a court order, or must they show additional harm?
Why not? I mean, once the court is able to establish that, once the lawyers are able to establish that indeed Hanan, they have been denied access to Hanan for the past 48 hours, then, and that before they realize, all they could hear is that he's been taken to court and remanded for, and can be a matter that the lawyers can take an action on. And as I told you, well, once that is done, it's a breach of the fundamental human rights, and action can be taken. That is that.
Counsel, thank you so much for your time this evening. I'm grateful.
You're welcome.
So that's lawyer Ni Tete, who is a private legal practitioner. MTN says that sometimes big moments start with small things. A call to a loved one, a mobile transaction to support family, a bundle to grow your business. But what if they could lead to something bigger than you ever imagined? With MTN at 30 promo, every call, every text, every browse, every Momo transaction, every connection to home fiber, and every activity on my MTN app earns you points towards amazing rewards, including 9 brand new Toyota Land Cruiser Prados, over 10 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes, an unforgettable experience just for you, because every move counts. Dial *530# *50# or use my MTN app to participate now, and let's stay connected everywhere you go. MTN at 30 promo, make every move count. Remember, terms and conditions apply. This is 505 on Class 91.3. I take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we have more.
"30 years ago, MTN arrived in Ghana and everything changed. Now, to celebrate 30 years, we are giving back big time. The MTN at 30 promo is here. 9 Toyota Land Cruiser Prados to be won. Over 10 million Ghana cedis in rewards, plus so much more. Connect to your everyday hustle on MTN. Make video calls. Browse the internet for business with family and friends. Connect your home to MTN Fiber. Make that money move on Momo and stay ahead, because every move counts. Ghana, let's celebrate 30 years of MTN with the MTN at 30 promo. Use more MTN services, build more points, and win big. Dial *530# or visit the My MTN app for more.
You're welcome back from that quick commercial break. Some 40 minutes after 5, you're on Class 91.3 FM here in Accra, across the country and across the world on classfmonline.com. To some other stories, the growing menace of fake online investment schemes is prompting fresh calls for action, with the president of the Cybersecurity Expert Association urging government to intensify efforts to protect the public from fraudsters. His comment follows a warning by the Cybersecurity Authority that 352 online investment fraud cases were recorded between January and June this year, with victims losing more than 3.4 million Ghana cedis. The authority says scammers are using social media and the names of reputable foreign companies to lure unsuspecting Ghanaians with promises of unusually high returns. Speaking to Class News, President of the association, Abubakar Ishaq, says governments and the Cybersecurity Authority must treat the emerging trend with urgency, warning that fraudsters posing as legitimate foreign investment companies could trigger another wave of investment fraud if swift action is not taken. Listen.
Well, the numbers sound very scary, and investment firms hiding behind foreign or using foreign names of legit investment firms to scam people is something that the Cybersecurity Authority and government should take immediate action, because we know previously what fraudulent investment firms have done to the country. And if we are having this emerging case within the cyberspace, it is something that should be treated with the urgency that it deserves, and the crackdown should start right now. I will propose that government should start implementing a strong committee against this. Also assemble the victims, let the victims be bold enough to come out and report. Okay. I think among these cases, I have a single report from a victim who complained about an investment he has done, obviously through Facebook, and sure. A couple of their colleagues were involved in it. And at the end of the day, their payment or the remittance that should be coming to them wasn't forthcoming. And he has begun to suspect them. So when he reported it to me as an expert, the first thing I did was that let me have the cases first. Let me understand the investment you've done. Let me see the number of people. But it looks as if the other members are still hopeful, so they are not ready to report. So this can also affect the course of the fight. I don't know if you get my point.
I understand.
So if people are not forthcoming to report, the little that has even reported that the Cybersecurity Authority is making this call or is making this public announcement, cautioning people not to go into it, it will still be a very great danger. So I also urge the citizens to be bold enough. Once they have the slightest suspicion, they shouldn't sit with the tiniest of hope, believing that the explanation that they are giving to them will materialize. And I think once we are able to do this, we should be able to get victims' money retrieved back to them, and also crack down on people using these fake firms. Yes.
Okay.
So that's the president of the Cybersecurity Association. My colleague Veronica Amade joins me in studio with the details of the statement from the Cybersecurity Authority. Vero, fill us in with the details.
So the Cybersecurity Authority has noted a surge in fraudulent online investment schemes operating under various alliances, and also the scammers lure victims with promises of high returns on investments and primarily use social media for advertisement and mobile money transaction. In the first 6 months of 2026, the CSA recorded 352 of such cases, amounting to a total financial loss of 3,429,444 Ghana cedis. And so in their bid to appear credible, threat actors falsely present their schemes as subsidiaries of established foreign companies. Example, the Daras, a legitimate e-commerce company headquartered in Pakistan. The scammers run targeted advertisements on social media platforms where eventual victims are encouraged to invest money. And in some cases, victims are told to invest their money or fund crypto mining equipment leases or online business stacks. And also victims are promised substantial returns, but once funds are transferred, they neither receive any return nor recover their initial investment. And also the threat actors frequently rebrand themselves to evade detection by law enforcement agencies, local regulators and users. And the later names were being employed include the Daras, the Daily Trade, the GS Store, Kuka, and also Idola. So they've listed some precautionary measures which they are stating that they should be cautious of online platforms promising unusual high returns on investments. They also refrain from joining WhatsApp groups or responding to unsolicited messages claiming affiliation with reputable organization. They also stated that always referring to the legitimacy and credibility of investment opportunities by consulting official channels or recognized regulatory bodies, and also saying that they should report any suspicious contacts or fraudulent schemes to the CSA for further investigations.
All right, so thank you, Vero, for bringing us the details of what the statement says from the Cybersecurity Authority. So this is to the general public that you want to be careful, especially when you get to the online portals and see some of these scammers pretending to be a foreign investment company. You want to be aware of that. Well, the Ghana National Fire Service has disclosed that it continues to face serious logistical and operational challenges as the rainy season places increased pressure on emergency response services across the country. According to the service, its ability to respond swiftly to emergencies is being hampered by the high number of fire engines that are faulty or out of service. The fire service also says the uneven distribution of the fire station, particularly in rural and hard to reach communities, continues to delay response times during critical incidents. In addition, the service is struggling with inadequate specialized equipment, including rescue tools and emergency medical supports, which are essential for responding to floods, road traffic accidents, and fire outbreaks that become more frequent during the rainy season. The service, therefore, identified communication constraints and limited funding as the key factors affecting the coordination and overall operational efficiencies. The Ghana National Fire Service says these persistent challenges are significantly impacting its ability to deliver timely emergency services at a time when demand is rising due to the ongoing rainy season. ADO1 Alex Kenate is with the public relations team. He will join me shortly and also have a conversation with the executive director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Dr. Nanaya Wakwada. They will join a conversation shortly. But Electoral and Ghana Limited is giving you a weekly and monthly big rewards when you buy Samsung, TCL, Media, and NASCO Electronics anywhere in Ghana and from any authorized dealer or reseller. Just buy your LED smart TVs, split AC, double door fridges, auto grill, gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, microwaves, blenders, mobile phones, and many more from Samsung, TCL, Media, and NASCO. And dial star 928 star 8888 hash, star 928 star 8888 hash, and or go to register.electroland.ghana.com, register.electrolandraffles.com to enter weekly and monthly draws approved by NLA on a characters platform. Electroland Ghana Limited, rewarding your patronage the big way. Always remember the TNC is applied. Well, review scratch for win is here. Just dial star 850 star 5 hash, star 850 star 5 hash, and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis or more in cash prizes instantly. It is easy, fun, and exciting. So you go to choose class 91.3 FM to play the game, select stake amount, and choose between 5 cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. Choose your lucky card out of the 5 options, confirm gameplay, and enter your Momo pin. Receive your game results and win it instantly. Get up to 1 million Ghana cedis. Review scratch for win. Scratch keka nedisika sibam. Review is for persons 18 years and above and powered by Super Cash Games. It's 50 minutes after 5 and it's time for business. Nanajiman Prempe is here.
And in business, the government, as part of its treasury auction, accepted 3.16 billion Ghana cedis from its latest treasury bills, falling short of 3.37 billion Ghana cedis target as investor demand moderated sharply from the previous week. According to results released by the Bank of Ghana, investors submitted 4.16 billion cedis in bids across the 91, 182, and 364-day bill. Of that amount, the Treasury accepted was 3.16 billion Ghana cedis as against the target of 3.37 billion cedis. The following report has more.
Investor participation in the Treasury bill markets remained relatively strong last week, but the government's latest auction fell short of its fundraising target after the Treasury rejected a portion of bids at higher interest rates. The auction held on July 2, 2026 saw bids tendered across the 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day bills amounted to 4.16 billion Ghana cedis, with the government accepting 3.16 billion Ghana cedis. The accepted amount represented 93.80% of the auction target of 3.37 billion Ghana cedis, leaving a shortfall of about 207.73 million Ghana cedis. The outcome points to a more cautious auction environment, especially after the previous tender attracted 7.37 billion Ghana cedis in bids, of which 6.01 billion Ghana cedis was sold. Looking ahead, the government plans to raise 5.67 billion Ghana cedis in the next treasury bill auction as it seeks to meet its near-term financing requirements.
So that was the News Desk report. Now let's move on to some other stories. And the Ghana Railway Development Authority has reactivated the Accra Koforidua line and secured a $21 million EU grant to fix the signal system on the Tema Mpakadan Railway as it moves to commercialize freight services on the corridor. The new Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Frederick Apple, announced the development at a press conference in Accra, saying the authority is focused on making rail bankable, reliable, and useful to Ghanaians. He said the Accra Koforidua service, also called Kojo Krom second in line, was reactivated after 2.5 years on the directive of the Transport Minister Joseph Inikwe Bukhari. The Tamampakadan line was ceremonially commissioned in 2024, but according to the CEO, it could not operate fully because the $11.75 million signal system for integration and interoperability was not working. On the international front, Nigeria's Dangote Petroleum Refinery has taken over the United States to become Europe's largest external supplier of jet fuel, marking a significant shift in global refined petroleum trade and strengthening Africa's position in international energy markets. Data from S&P Global Community and Commodity Insights showed that the refinery exported about 466,000 metric tons of aviation fuel to Europe in June, almost double the 232,000 metric tons shipped in May. The June exports, equivalent to roughly 582.5 million liters, were valued at an estimated $553 million, making it the refinery's strongest month since it began commercial operations. The surge allowed Dangote Refinery to overtake the United States, whose jet fuel exports to Europe fell to 399,000 metric tons in June from 560,000 metric tons in May. And that's it for business. Back to you, KOG.
Thank you, Nanajima Prempe, for bringing us business. Let's do some few messages and then we take leave of you. From William in Ho says that since the start of the big push, who haven't seen any efforts from any contractor yet, and we don't even know the contractor. I'm begging authorities to make the contractor to come and start something in the town of Ho. Okay, thank you for a message. This one says, Kwame, the residents of Amasaman has no right to determine the current administration of John Dramani Mahama's government to fix or give proper time, I'm sure, of their bad roads, deplorable states where the I'm not getting the message well. So Accra High Court set a date for Ashanti Regional Chairman of the opposition New Patriotic Party want to make case of securing money from the banks without any proof of identity. If Okumla shared that message with us. Francis and Accra says, hi KOJ. In fact, contractors who are doing some key roads are playing politics with NDC governments. Some road contractors are getting political influence from opposition, not speed up with works and use it against the government. Okay, well, Francis and Accra shared that message with us. Okay. All right, sure. Victor, I guess the information you want to put out, the team would do exactly. That's all for 505 this evening. We came to you live from our studios here. Digital address GO0423598, Not Laboni. Third day work on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, across the country and across the world on classfmonline.com. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Good evening, good night.